I had a great exchange with the chairman earlier, and we talked about the state of North Carolina. I've done years in service with this man, and he made it very clear to me, lay off my judges, Booker. So let me just say simply this to all those who are nominated for positions in North Carolina. I am a Jersey boy through and through, but I'm the son of a North Carolinian. And my dad grew up in Hendersonville, up in the mountains, and North Carolina was his pathway to progress. He went to North Carolina Central University. I know my dad is now in heaven. He died 6 days before I was elected to this office, but he was North Carolina through and through. So congratulations on your nomination. You are representing a great state, and I know, especially seeing a lot of the faces of your family behind you, that you take this nomination seriously, and I wish you Godspeed. I really thank you, Ms. Carter, for the passion, and I just would love to explore an area in which there's been tremendous bipartisan work, not just here in the Congress, but all over America right now. We're seeing such wisdom from red states and blue states, learning from the mistakes in the 90s that led to an explosion of incarceration, but no reduction in drug use. And it's something that I've leaned on. Everybody from Right on Crime to the Manhattan Institute have been invaluable in my journey in helping me shape policy, especially in my days as a mayor. I am this strange guy. I used to get joked by Mitt Romney. I'm not Mormon, but I've never drank. I've never smoked. I am a pretty boring guy, as my fiance tells me. But I do have some frustrations with marijuana policy based on science, and I'd like to focus there first. On your podcast in 2023, Ms. Carter, you talked about cannabis, and you said, I don't have any problem if it's legalized and monitored. You supported the use of cannabis for medical purposes, and we had bipartisan hearings here with military personnel talking about the transformative impact it's had on their PTSD. I just believe that we have a moment now where 40 states have made cannabis legal for medical purposes. Unfortunately, federal law is lagging behind state law and behind popular opinion on all across the political spectrum. In fact, under federal law, cannabis is still a Schedule I drug, the category that's really reserved for some of the most dangerous drugs, some of which I think I came in on a conversation that you were talking about. They say that cannabis has no medical value. That's what Schedule I says. In essence, cannabis is considered just as dangerous as heroin in the federal system. In 2022, President Biden directed the Secretary of Health and Human Services to just review how cannabis is scheduled under federal law. And after its scientific review, Health and Human Services recommended rescheduling cannabis at Schedule III. I think that's a step in the right direction, and that would finally at least recognize that we would not only have medical benefits, but it would allow scientists to study the short and long-term health impacts. It would open up the door to more scientific study. And so I'm wondering, if you were confirmed, how would you advise the American president about the ongoing rescheduling process?
First, thank you so much, Senator, for your comments. And you're right, I am very passionate. I could see that you're very passionate as well. This is a bipartisan issue, and I look forward to working with you as well. As all the Republicans here on the committee and other Democrats. So first, thank you very much, and I extend an invitation to speak with you at any time of your choosing. If confirmed as director, I will comply with all federal laws and fulfill all statutory responsibilities of the ONDCP. However, we will continue to work extensively with research and data. We will continue to do that and explore all options. I've already met with Secretary Collins with the Veterans Administration. All of us are discussing, these continued research and data that we will be delivering. And based on that research and data, we can continue to assess. I think that is vitally important.
So I know the federal law prohibits the Office of National Drug Control Policy from funding any study or contract relating to legalization, including for medical use. It's unfortunate, but that makes the study of Schedule I drugs, including cannabis, really difficult. And so I'm hoping, as we work together across the aisle on legislation that would simply allow the ONDCP to study the impacts, that this might be something that you would support.
Absolutely. We will continue to study the impacts of that.
Thank you. I'm going to give some other questions for the record, but I just want to do one quick last question. We're seeing this overdose crisis, and we're seeing communities, I think we're talking about, tragically affected by fentanyl. I believe we need to make sure that people who use drugs or are in recovery have access to naloxone, which is a proven to reduce overdose deaths. I'm going to put some questions in the record on that, but I am very concerned, and I've seen such bipartisan work in this area. I have a bipartisan bill on this, that the ONDCP issued its drug control strategy of 2026, the top priority to reduce the number of fatal overdoses. This is scientists saying the top priority, and this is what it reads. I'm going to quote it here. We will encourage state and local jurisdictions to increase the availability of drug test strips and naloxone to mitigate the impact of deadly drugs on communities across the country. I have seen study after study that show that test strips can save lives, that even addicts, when they have access to test strips, will test the drugs they're using before they're taking them. And so I just will hope, and I'll put these questions in the record, that if confirmed, you will ensure that ONDCP increases the availability of fentanyl test strips and naloxone, that we can work together as we have bipartisan legislation here with you to get it passed and done right, and that the tragedy that we have right now for test strips causing people who are trying to save lives, put them in criminal jeopardy is really bad. So I know we don't have any time left. I look forward to those questions on the record. I just want to say one more time, these are rote hearings, and often they're the senators on both sides of the aisle are so busy, we're running to different hearings. I just want the people who are up for nomination to know, and the families especially, that we take this very seriously, that there's a nobility, everybody sitting at that panel who wants to serve their country in the best way possible. Most of you are giving up more lucrative positions to do what you're doing, and you're not doing it alone. It's also a family sacrifice. There's a lot of talk about our divides here in Congress, but I can say this for every senator. Thank you for stepping forward to serve your nation, and thank you to every family person that's represented here as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Booker. And Senator Booker, you're